Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. This is going to be my fragrance collection for 2025. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my fragrance collection for 2025, and I'm going to have to be very honest with you. I haven't done this video in a year, and there's only one fragrance, just one, that I've added to the collection in the past year. I didn't use anything up. There were no changes to this collection made in the past year, save for one purchase that I decided on very late to get because I have really been loving all of the fragrances that I'm having. So I was like, should I still do this video? Yes or no? I don't talk about fragrance on this channel very often. I tend to do this video once a year just to show you what I've been wearing, what I've been focusing on, what I'm really enjoying. And I wanted to show you my new fragrance and tell you a little bit about the older things and whether I still like them, yes or no. I'm not going to be decluttering anything because I feel like I now have what I want. And I may have to like reorganize and reshuffle a couple of things so I have better access to some things that I'm a bit more interested in now. Because I really feel like fragrance for me, it's such a mood related thing for me. It's such a, like, ooh, what I'm feeling like today. So maybe I should like try to make a shift of like having the more like warmer gourmandy things together and have like the fresher, more citrusy things together and like have the more like, you know what I mean? Perhaps because then it makes a bit more sense for me. And now I've sort of like not really categorized it very well. So I don't know the fragrance notes off the top of my head, but I did screenshot all of the Fragrantica note overviews last time I did this video, so I will be popping the notes up on the screen, but if I get them wrong as I'm talking about it, because I don't have that here, then I do apologize, but let me show you my newest fragrance. Like, if you only buy one fragrance a year, I thought I would make it a good one. This is by BDK Parfums. They're based in Paris, and I found this through a very random TikTok channel. It's called Gris Charnel, and it has fig, black tea, iris, vetiver bourbon, santal, and tonka bean. And this is a niche fragrance. This was pricey. But I heard the creator talking about this. Looks really, really pretty. And I instantly knew that I wanted to get this. Like, I had never smelled this before, but the way it was described and the notes that were in here just instantly made me go like, that's something I like. And I couldn't find this anywhere. I was hoping I could find this when I was in Paris a couple of months ago, and then I couldn't, and I started looking for it online, and then it turned out they have it here in Balenciaga. They sell it. So I went into store, I think around November, December time, just to smell it. I sprayed it on the little card. But especially with these really expensive perfumes, I really like being able to spray it on my skin because some of them really don't last very well on me, just to see what the wear time would be like and what it would smell like if it interacted with my own like chemistry, you could say. And this smelled beautifully. I really, really love the way it smelled. It's a little bit unusual compared to some of the other things I have, but at the same time, it feels very familiar and easygoing because it has a lot of similar notes to one of the other fragrances that I love and that if you've been with me, you know I really like. But I wasn't wearing that a lot anymore because Dior, because it's a Dior fragrance, changed the formula of it after I bought it. So I still have the old bottle that everybody loves. But I was like afraid to use it up. But now I feel like I have something that falls within that same category that has a very similar vibe to it. So now I feel a little bit better about potentially using up the Dior thing. So yeah, my only new fragrance in this entire collection that you've never heard me talking about is by BDK. I had never heard of them before. And I was able to, like, I'm so glad I was able to smell this before making this purchase because, as I said, this was pricey. But I was like, I was in this treat myself sort of moment for Christmas. So this was sort of like a Christmas present to myself, you could say. And I was like, you know what? I haven't bought a fragrance in a year, and the last time I bought a fragrance, it was also a niche fragrance. So I'm just developing more expensive taste when it comes to fragrance, and then I'm like, you know what? If I'm buying just one fragrance a year and I make it something that's this special and interesting, I'm good. Let me talk to you about that Dior fragrance. It's not a women's fragrance. I do wear men's fragrances, even though I'm a woman, because the only difference there is between men's and women's fragrances is, say it with me, marketing. If you like the scent of it, steal your boyfriend's or your husband's fragrance or your dad's or whatever, because you can still wear it. And this is my favorite. This is one of my favorite things. You can see I've used quite a bit of it. So because I was using it so much, and this is a 75 milliliter bottle, I believe. So this is the Dior Homme original fragrance. And it has a lot of the same notes as the BDK Gris Charnel. That just has like a sharpness to it that this doesn't have, because this has a leathery note to it, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't smelled this in a while. So this has a little bit more of an earthiness to it, and I feel like the other one has a bit more of a sharper, I wouldn't call it a jasmine note, but I'm getting sort of like that sharpness that a jasmine note usually has from the Gris Charnel. So I do feel, because this also has the iris and this also has like that powdery sort of vibe to it. And I've seen a lot of people compare the Gris Charnel to this as like a good alternative. So that's probably why I like the other one so much. But like smelling them side by side, I do feel this has a different like start to the fragrance, but the way they dry down and how they, like the way they make me feel, fragrance is so subjective, you guys. But the way these fragrances make me feel, they make me feel in a very similar way. And that's sort of, let me show you, because this is in the thumbnail. I hope you can sort of see, but this is how I keep my fragrances. I keep them stored in a drawer so that nothing can happen to them. And this is where the Dior one lives. This is sort of like my cubby where I pick most of my fragrances from. So these are my most worn, sort of like everyday fragrances. One that's been with me for years is this, Florabotanica by Balenciaga. Discontinued. This is my third bottle. The first bottle was 30 mils, used it up, bought a 50 ml one, and then bought a 100 ml one right before they discontinued it. So I'm now happy that I kind of have this. This starts very fresh and minty, and then it has like a warmer dry down, and it just has some really nice notes to it. This was promoted by Kristen Stewart at the time when they first launched it, but it was discontinued years ago. But I still like this. I like it especially in the springtime. What I've been wearing a lot, and what I'm actually wearing today, is another men's fragrance. I discovered Bleu de Chanel because they put a tester in one of my orders when I placed a makeup order a couple of years ago. And I took the tester with me on a trip, and I was like, I actually like this. It has quite a bit of citrus to it. And I do like men's fragrances that aren't too aftershavey. And with this, I don't know why, but like it starts smelling like air freshener on me and like your classic aftershave kind of scent. But then after a while, it really has this like warmer, fuzzier sort of scent to it. So I really enjoy that one. And I like it because it's a bit more lightweight and a little airy feeling. So that's why I do enjoy Bleu de Chanel from Chanel. Then I have my little Jo Malone collection. So the one that I wear the most, and that's why I have the biggest bottle from it, is English Oak and Hazelnut. This is my favorite one of them. You can see there's quite a nice dent in there. I'm not going to be using this up anytime soon. Again, it starts pretty fresh, and this is such a good like everyday fragrance that you can just whip on and it will smell nice. This doesn't last a long time on me though. So that's one thing that that's why I sort of stopped buying a lot of Jo Malone fragrances, because they just feel, like I just feel they evaporate a little bit too quickly, but that smells really nice. It starts really fresh and earthy, and then it has that nutty, almost like sweetness to it, which I do enjoy. And then I bought these two to layer together, but I've actually discovered this fall that I actually like wearing Dark Amber and Ginger Lily from the Intense range by itself. It's a little bit warmer. The ginger makes it smell a little bit spicy almost as well. And that's why I do really like this. It's warm. It's like a nice little hug. It's like if a cashmere sweater had a scent, this. But I do like layering it with sage and sea salt, and I sometimes wear this in the summertime by itself as well. I just have the small 50 milliliter bottle, but you can see it has a dent. This has that salty sort of fresh air, I'm walking down the beach kind of fragrance to it. So I do really enjoy it for that reason. It is, again, very lightweight, so especially in the summertime when I don't like anything too overpowering, I like to wear this one. And then I like pairing these two together as well, Fig and Lotus Flower and Cade and Cedarwood. This one was from a special collection, and you can see that I tend to wear these together because they've been used about as much. I should reach for these more often again, but again, for me, this cedarwood one is very sort of balsam-like. It smells like, the smell reminds me of cold medicine, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing. And the Fig and Lotus Flower is a little bit sweeter. So again, for me, this is more of like a spring combo rather than for like the winter time. But that's another thing with the Bleu de Chanel. I tended to wear that mostly in like the spring-summer season, and now I'm loving it in the winter time. So what I like to wear when is sort of changing, I feel. I have a bunch of these smaller sizes as well. I still have this Nest fragrance, which is Cocoa Woods, but this is a rollerball, and I don't love rollerballs, so I do really like this. I think this was discontinued, and I picked it up in New York because I hadn't tried anything from Nest in a while, and I was like, if I like it, and if I ever travel to the US again, I could get a bigger size, but they've discontinued this fragrance. It's, again, pretty fresh. I feel like it starts in a similar way to English Oak and Hazelnut from Jo Malone, but then again, it has that like warmer sort of scent to it once it dries down. These three bottles all look the same, but I got a travel size of the Essential Perfumes Fig Infusion. This is a French independent like fragrance house, and they are, for like a niche perfume, they are a little bit more on the affordable sides. So I bought this because they had sold out of the bigger size, but this is my favorite fig scent. It's really sort of like sweet and fresh at the same time. And then I have three of my little Byredo fragrances. I got one of their travel sets because I couldn't choose. Mojave Ghost I love, but it doesn't last on me. I tend to wear that if I want to wear fragrance after I've been in the shower. You know, if you want to keep that fresh, clean smell going, I like to wear that sometimes. Super Cedar I like, but I like the Jo Malone Cedar one that I have a bit better. That feels more woodsy to me. This has a note of freshness to it that, again, doesn't last very well on me. Finally, Black Saffron has actually been my favorite of the three and the one I reach for the most. I still don't feel like I need a full size of the Byredo in my collection. I know they're like cult favorites. Everybody loves a Byredo fragrance, but they don't have the best lasting power on me. This is a bit warmer compared to the other ones, and I like the saffron note this has. So before I get to talk about it, I have a Guerlain fragrance here. This is the Erba Fresca from the Aqua Allegoria. This is, again, one of those more lightweight, fresh smelling things, and this is very herbal. It's called Erba Fresca for a reason. It smells like if you're chopping fresh, like fresh parsley and mint and those kind of things, it reminds me of that. It smells like chopped fresh greens. If you don't like that scent, if you don't like that earthy sort of scent to it, you're not going to love this, but this was the one, and I just really like this bottle from Guerlain as well. So, like that, but it is a little bit more of a summer fragrance for that reason. Something that I do like to wear quite a bit in the fall time is by Prada. This is one of their Infusion de Cèdre, and this is, what's this called again? They have this whole line, and I don't remember what this one is called anymore. I thought this was the Iris version of it. Really pretty. It's, again, like that sort of warm hug. If you're wearing like a nice big cozy sweater like I'm wearing today, then this is a fragrance that you'll like. I've got three Hermès fragrances. I have Hermès's Un Jardin sur le Nil. This is another like spring favorite of mine. It has that freshness to it as well, but this also has some sweety, fruitsy notes to it because I think it has like it's supposed to smell like when you walk like take a walk down the Nile. That's what it's supposed to smell like. But there is this sweetsy, sort of fruitsy scent to it, which is what sets it apart from others. The only thing I don't love on this is that the spritzer on this it's faulty. So whenever I spritz it, it just kind of like has a spritz and it doesn't evaporate very well. So that's a bit of a shame, especially because this wasn't cheap. And then we have the Twilly fragrance. This is the Eau Poivrée, which has a really nice peppery note to it. I love pepper notes. I really do. And you can see that I've used this quite a bit. It has a nice big dent. Love it in the like fall winter season mostly. And then I got a little mini of the Twilly Eau Ginger with the Eau Poivrée, which I haven't used much. It smells fine, but if I go for that ginger lily scent, I'm gonna go for the Jo Malone if I want something ginger. If I want something a bit more floral, I do tend to reach for Stella McCartney's Stella. This is a bottle I got years ago. This fragrance was changed and it no longer smells the same, a lot of people say. And this is rose. I don't love rose, but this one for some reason I do like, and you can tell how much I used it. I wore it so much during the fall season this year. It was addicting. I just have a small 30 milliliter size of the Zadig and Voltaire for her fragrance. You can't really see how much I've used up because it's pretty much down to the sticker. It's only a 30 ml bottle, but this is so nice. This has a very milky note to it, and it has a sharpness to it that if I smell it like this, I don't like, but on my skin, magic happens. Some more Guerlain then. This is Mon Guerlain. I believe that's what the fragrance is called. This is quite a gourmand sort of fragrance, and I do like warmy vanilla scents, but if they become too sweet and too cookie-like, I don't like it. And this was one of the very first of its kind where I was like, yeah, I kind of like it. So I only got a small bottle. I've used it quite a bit, but not too often. I only have a small dent in this one. It's only a small bottle because I wanted to try it out because I wasn't sure I was going to like something like this long term. So I didn't want to commit to a bigger bottle. And finally, in this cubby, I have two very much discontinued products. These are the Nirvana fragrances from Elizabeth and James. I have Bourbon and French Grey. I started off loving Bourbon the best. This was the first vanilla fragrance I ever bought, and it's still one of my favorites. I only got the smallest size, and now that this brand is no longer around, I'm actually a bit sad. But then again, I've had this for years. I bought this one, I think the year I moved into this place, I ended up buying both of these. I was able to find them very randomly online. And French Grey is a little bit more that powdery, sort of soft, warm hug kind of scent. So I feel like these two were, because I like these two, I found all of those other fragrances that I do like the Dior one that I showed you and those kind of things. I feel like these were like the sort of foundational fragrances that made me discover those scents. I feel like I've used them a lot, but it doesn't show up when I hold them to the camera. There's only really small dents in these, which is good, because I could never buy these again, and I still love them till this day. And then this cubby, it's sort of overflowing because it doesn't quite fit. I've got my Maison Margiela sort of fragrances in here, and some smaller travel size things. And then I have some more affordable Zara things in here too, because I had a moment testing out Zara fragrances, and I like some of these a lot, but to be quite fair, I don't reach into this cubby a whole lot. So I tend to go for those things or the next cubby, but this cubby I don't reach into enough, I would have to say. But I have Maison Margiela, the Replica fragrances. In here, because I have quite a few and it no longer fit in there. The big bottle I have is Whispers in the Library. That's my favorite one. Very warm. I love books. You know that about me. So Whispers in the Library, to buy it as a full size, made sense to me. But I also really like that they now do these 50 ml bottles. I think that's the size of them. That are a little bit smaller. So I have Matcha Meditation, which again has a nice dent in there. And I have Under the Stars, which is oud and leather. And I love both oud and leather. I don't have a lot of oud fragrances in my collection. So that's why, and this is just matcha tea. It's very refreshing. Love this in the spring summer season. And what this Whispers in the Library have. It's paper and waxed wood. Couldn't be any happier with that. And then I have a small one of Jazz Club. This I got as a freebie, as a gift with purchase. But Jazz Club would be one that I would buy potentially as a bigger size at some point. But I think I have 2 baby ones. Yeah, because I also have it in the travel size. So I like that these come in different sizes so you can test them out. But Jazz Club I have like this. And the other one I have is Beach Walk. Or did I get rid of that? Oh, I got rid of Beach Walk. I thought I had Beach Walk as well, but I used to have it because I didn't like it, so that's why. But this is By the Fireplace. So in the Replica fragrance, you can see I've used that quite a bit. I like this sort of boozy, papery, vintage, dark academia kind of scents that they do. I just do. And this has Burning Wood and Chestnut. That's By the Fireplace. And Jazz Club is just booze and cigars. It's like, it's whiskey, essentially. But I like that sort of thing. I have some more men's fragrance in here. This is Gucci Guilty for men. Because again, something I got as a tester and really liked. It's a little bit fresher, but I haven't reached for this a lot, which is a bit of a shame. And then a travel size that I've been using is this baby one from Lancôme that I've tried. It's Beautiful Magnolia. I believe it was Lancôme. It doesn't have a name of the brand on there. I have the Gucci in Bloom Acqua di Fiore. This one has been discontinued. This is again quite earthy and sort of like fresh herb scented. And I've kept the box because I don't love this pink bottle and I feel like the sticker is on crooked. So I've always kept it in the box, and the box was still in here, but the fragrance was elsewhere. So glad to be able to sort that out. But you can see that I've organized it mainly by brand, and I'm not sure if that's really working for me. And then I also have my only YSL fragrance in here. This is Black Opium in the green one, which was their fig leaning one, and that's why I got it. I didn't like the original Black Opium on me because it didn't last, and I didn't get the scent very well. But this lasted really well, but this was like in the back of my drawer, so I need to put this front and center because I think for spring, I'm really going to like this again. So I need to go back to this. I just got the small bottle because with the original Black Opium, I wasn't sure how this was going to pan out for me long term, so that's why it's only a baby one. I have Cardamom from Zara, really pretty, and it's a very cardamom, like spicy sort of fragrance, which I do enjoy, and that lasts really well on me, and that's how I discovered Zara fragrances. I did get rid of a bunch of my Zara fragrances last year because I had way too many. I have Joe's Rhubarb, so this was created by Joe Malone for Zara, and this has that fresh sort of rhubarby scent, and I do like rhubarb, but it can be so tangy that it's sometimes a bit overpowering, so I do enjoy this one. It's a little bit more subtle, I find. And then I have Amber and Fig Cashmere, and this range was so good, and I really like that one. That also lasts really well. And then I have Universal Oud, so the only other oud-based fragrance that I have besides Under the Stars. And then Phyllis for Her from Pull&Bear, which they no longer do, but this is a dupe for Chloe, the Love Chloe fragrance. This doesn't last as long on me as the Chloe one did. Why aren't you going on? Oh, there we go. And the Love Chloe one was almost gone in my case, and that was discontinued, and this was a good dupe, so that's why I bought it, to have that one in my collection for a longer time. And here, speaking of Love Chloe, it's still in here. I didn't throw away my bottle because I still like it. And these are my sort of like nicer perfumes. So if I'm going out or if I have a special occasion to go to, I reach into this cubby. And these are some of my favorites now. So here is the Love Chloe original bottle. I still have a little bit left, but I'm so afraid to use this up. This was the original powdery scent that I loved. This is how I fell in love with powdery fragrances. I now have the Dior, so maybe I could get rid of this one. I don't know. I still want to keep this because now this is also discontinued. So I don't want to get rid of everything just for the sake of getting rid of things. I've got some Kayali in here. The first one I bought is Yum Pistachio Gelato. I don't normally like things with marshmallow and like whipped cream in, but this is the first sort of almost like cookie, like baked goods kind of fragrance that I did like. So I do like to wear that from time to time. And because I like that, I bought the Vanilla 28 as a travel size. And I do like this, but I like the Yum Gelato Pistachio thing much better. I have Juliet Has a Gun Sunny Side Up. This smells like sunscreen. Such a good summer fragrance. Really, really pretty. I really love that in the summertime, but mainly for special occasions. So I wear it around my birthday, which is in the summer, or like graduation parties, that sort of thing. And then my more wintry scents are the other ones because I have most like special occasions in the wintertime. So I have this. This is another men's fragrance. This is Sauvage by Dior. This is the Elixir version, which I just like best out of all of the Sauvage offerings that they have. It's very spicy, tobacco-y. It's, some people will say it smells like a man, but I like smelling like a man sometimes. I can't help it. And then this is, I think, the worst smelling fragrance to some people. I think it's been discontinued. It's Mugler's Aura. And this is vanilla and mint. So it's sort of like fresh and warm at the same time. It's such an interesting fragrance. This is not for everyone. I'm very well aware, but I do really like that. For like, I wear that a lot around like Christmas and New Year's parties. I tend to reach for these kind of things. And then I have Angel's Share from Kilian. This is the fragrance I bought last year. And this is sort of like, I get a lot of apple with this. I don't know why, but I get a lot of apple with this. And then I also get quite a bit of like a boozy scent with it. So I feel like I have pretty much everything. I don't have a lot on my wish list in terms of fragrance, which is why I wasn't wearing it a lot or buying a lot. The only thing I would still be interested in is like a tomato fragrance, like something with tomato in. I would be interested in that, but that's pretty rare to find. So not sure if that's going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, thank you so very much for joining me here today. Those were all of the fragrances that I personally have in my collection right now. I hope you enjoyed hearing me chat about something other than makeup for a change. I like fragrance. I wear it every single day of my life. Sometimes I even change my fragrance multiple times a day, but I only wear a little bit. I only do a couple of spritzes because my asthma doesn't like it if I like wear too much perfume. And that's why I also sometimes like these like more lightweight things, because if my asthma is really playing up or if my hay fever is going through the roof, I need something a bit more lightweight than what some of these other fragrances are. So yeah, those are all of the fragrances that I have to share with you today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Thumbs it up if you loved it, and then I will see you again very, very soon with a new video. Bye!